Well, hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me in my shop. Hey, what I'm planning on doing today is the next alignment step with this radio. Even though there's some curiosities about how the IF is working, at the end of my last video I sort of convinced myself that somehow you could pass varying frequencies through the IF. It's kind of a weird thing. So I don't know what to make of that. So I'm just going to ignore it for now. I'm going to carry on. Before I do the alignment though, I think now is a good time for me to replace all these grid cap wires. They're all cracked and shot, and I notice the caps here are copper, which means it should be easy to solder to them. Often these are steel. This could still be copper plated steel even, I don't know for sure, but I think they're copper. Should be easy to solder, should be easy to do this. I'm going to do all that off camera, and then we'll carry on with the alignment once I've done all that. Okay, so I got about 2 minutes into the process here. I've clicked on my camera again. I just thought I'd start with this one. It's right in the front here. It's very short, it just goes here, but I noticed that this just isn't a piece of wire soldered to a terminal. There's a connector on the end of the wire. Why would they do that? That's a hint. That's a hint. And what's under this tape? Let's get it off and we'll find out. In case I'm wrong and there is some kind of a difficulty with, and there often is a difficulty with attaching the wire to these things. It's often just a crimp connection at the top here. The solder's not really part of the picture. So this definitely looks soldered. I don't see there's a problem here. I should be able to unsolder this, lay a new wire over here. I'll just take this whole clip off of here. Let's do it. Let's do it. I've got the camera rolling now. Might as well keep her going. So this inside this little can, by the way, is the antenna coil. So basically the antenna comes down to the radio, feeds through a primary winding and a transformer, and then goes down to the chassis. And that's it for the antenna. The antenna signal is not directly connected to the radio. It's simply connected through this transformer. And part of that is to maintain extremely high, or as high as possible, impedance in the antenna. The higher the impedance of the antenna, I don't mean the antenna feed line, I mean the antenna itself, the easier time it has picking up stations. Okay, this has got to be ready to go. Boy, is that really true what I just said? Maybe some of you are saying, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Take my look at my loop antenna behind me here. It's extremely low impedance. Picks up stations just fine. But some of you will know exactly what I meant. Here. Absolutely. I keep that in my shop here. I know you think you understand what you think you heard me say, but I'm not so sure you realize that what you heard is not really what I meant. Okay, so that's off. Now we're going to want to pull the wire out of here, I think. Or if I can just yank it out. And we'll do away with this end. It's of no use to me. if this is clamped down too tight, it's not going to pull off. How am I going to know when it's all melted in there? It's a big connector. Tugging on it, but it's not coming apart. If it comes apart, it's going to throw solder on me too. Better look away. Oops. Look away. Oh man. I don't think it's just going to pull out. You know, pulling out is never a good strategy anyway. No, it's not going to come out. That's not so good. Just came apart. There might be a little hole in it they fed the wire through. There we go. Okay, perfect. Green wire. I think usually they like to use green wire on grid circuits. See, wires green. That's not a grid circuit though. Going to. So this is just a short little piece of wire, something like that. Wrong pliers. Can't spot the right ones right now. Off. Okay, that's not coming off. like I mentioned before, a lot of these are steel. You cannot solder onto steel. And so this kind of repair is actually difficult in most radios. But this one's easy because it's the copper. That's perfect. Just going to reduce this wire. Gonna go too. That's gonna go. Where's it going inside here? It's stiff enough I can't see where it's going here. Coming from. It's coming off of there. Let's see if we can pull it off. Yep. Okay, perfect. So this connector here is a little like this. You slip the wire in it, slip the second wire in and solder. And that's why it was so easy for me to melt the solder and just pop the wires out. Okay, that's good. So now I got to do this one back where I can't see where it's going exactly. Okay, let's get the close-up camera happening here. Probably not focused right. Yeah. Okay, hold on 1 second. I fix the focus here. Okay, I think that's going to do it like that. Now we're looking for this green wire here. There. Okay, just get a glimpse of it. Where's it going? Ah, that's scary. It's going up in there. Up in where? Up in where you can't see a darn thing. There's. Oh, this is bad news. Piles of bad news here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a different approach. The inside the radio chassis, the wire is actually pretty firm from the hole here to the where the wire is attached. There's hardly any distance. So all I got to do is sleeve this properly here, so it won't short. Then I could replace all this up to the top from here. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm just going to slide shrink sleeve down through the hole here and extend the wire. Instead of trying to get in under there, it just looks suicidal is what it looks like. Suicidal for a repair guy. So, not interested in being suicidal today. Not today, anyway. Bit here. That's just crumbling off terribly. So shrink sleeve. My ever diminishing collection of shrink sleeve. Okay, so that'll go through the hole. That'll do it. Go up the wire a fair ways. Wow. Okay, that's good. So I need to, wow, cut it here. So this is just to protect the wire where it goes through the chassis. It's not to cover this connection I'm going to make. Wow, slid that up a long ways. That's good. And I could possibly pull it back and cover the connection too. Talking about that, still haven't spotted my pliers, so I'm going to scrape the wire here. I was thinking the other day when I was a kid doing this kind of stuff, when I was a young teenager and that, fooling around with TV sets and whatnot, the tools I had at my disposal were extremely limited. I had a pair of needle nose pliers with cutters, you know, your standard needle nose pliers, a couple of screwdrivers, and not much more than that really. I had a little tiny meter, really meant for testing batteries, just a little tiny plastic cheapo thing. That was my instrument. And hey, would you believe it? I built my own oscilloscope when I was in grade 8 or grade 9 out of an old TV. That's right. No retrace blanking on my scope when I was a kid. So it my scope traced just back and forth 60 cycles. But you know, I had a lot of fun with it. Impressed my friends all the heck. Hey, watch this. Talk in this microphone and look on that TV screen. Yeah, if any of you think I'm a newbie at this, please. It may look that way, but I am not. Like many of you, this is a lifelong thing I've been doing. So a few videos ago I mentioned a second YouTube channel, and then I went quiet. And the reason I went quiet is because it's not working out for me. It was supposed to be kind of like a product review channel. I can get some free stuff. And I found a company I think I can work with that has no expectations of me whatsoever. That's perfect. That's just what I want. But a little bit of trouble getting it off the ground, unfortunately. So hopefully that's going to be fixed, so to speak, shortly. Let's see if I can pull that little. It'd be nice if I could cover it now. Still lots inside. Come right over. Perfect. Almost perfect. So I think if you look on YouTube, you can find another channel with my name associated with it, and there's all of 2 videos on it. Comes up here now. Two videos in 6 months. I'm going to reduce this end of the wire. I did say something about not videoing all this, didn't I? Sometimes it's good to tin these ahead of time, sometimes not. The biggest problem with stranded wires, the strands. They go wild. There. Okay, that's good enough. Get this guy. Explained how you can just feed the wire down through this clip, and now I'm going to solder to the outside of it. That's fine. Okay, let's just wake up the soldering iron here. That's a hot piece of wire. That's a hot piece of wire. There we go. Lovely. Now I just have to do that 1, 2, 3 more times, and we're good. So this next one. Next one goes down through this hole, straight up onto the tuning capacitor terminal here. So I should be able to just push a wire through, hook it onto the terminal, solder it from up here. Yeah, I got good solder iron range. Okay, this is going to be the same deal under here, I'm sure. So now you've seen me do one, so no reason to watch the rest. They're all going to be pretty much the same thing. So I think now I will carry on off camera. You know, this appears to be just mechanically clamped. I don't... It's very strange looking. It looks like there's solder on here. It looks like it's been filed. But yet there's no... Anyway, I don't know. It's quite common for these things to not be soldered. But this has actually got some of the insulation in under the clamping. That's bad. I would call that bad. Maybe that was their objective. There's no solder here. That's what they do, is they feed it through and solder it on the backside, and then they've sanded it or filed it or something. You can't really tell. See, it doesn't really look like copper. Come on out. Something's holding it, so it must be soldered. Solder got my finger there. Okay, now getting to the other part of this. It's way down in here. So I can certainly identify it. I can jam some cutters down there. Maybe I can't. Is. I can see the cut end of the wire in there, so I won't get confused. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky. I gotta kind of shove it into the right spot and then kind of tack solder it a little bit there. I don't think I'm going to get away with much more than that, so I think I'm going to reduce the wire. Before I make a mistake here, I'm going to push it through the hole. I can just see myself doing this whole thing without ever pushing it through that hole. You know, my plan is to tin this one. I can tin it now, in fact. Just stay put there, would ya? Okay. Through the hole. Yeah, see, now I was going to do this without it being on camera. There we are. Now I want to get around this terminal, which is actually very visible from up here. And I must find my powerful pliers. What did I do with them? They got to be right around here somewhere. Here they are. Here they are. Can't have gone far. I know you can't quite see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to wrap. Now that I've tinned the wire, it's a lot stiffer, eh? I'm just trying to hook it around the terminal here a little bit. Good. That's good. Now solder that. Perfect. Good. That's good. Now, you know, there's supposed to be a metal sleeve on here. I happen to have one. Steal it from another radio. It's not quite the right size. Similar though. Got some more somewhere, but I don't know if I've got any this size. Well, I'll have to check in my collection. Okay, so assuming there was one of these cans, this would have to come up and over. About to here. Sure, I have that squeezed right down tight. Okay, that's not tight, but it's going to solder. That's two. Oh no, I've done it upside down. Still hot. A little bit too much wire on it, maybe. I don't really want too much excess wire. Okay, that's not bad though. I don't think that's a problem. Next, around the back side here. See, this one, somebody's already tried to solve a shorting problem in here by taking some regular electrical tape, shoving it up there. That's fairly recent. And you know what? You can't get up in behind here to deal with this wire. So this is the right solution. It's just not the right material. But I'm going to cut off the bulk of this wire here because, I mean, the whole thing is shot out here. And I'm going to slide the sleeve up like I did before. That'll solve the short if there is one, or going to be one. Let's cut this up here for some reason. Now, when I do this, I'm going to remove whatever's left of the insulation. Yeah. So I'm really hoping it's soldered just inside there. Actually, I really don't have to hope. I can be pretty sure of that. Find some shrink sleeve that's going to fit. It doesn't slide up very far. this to be, successfully covered. The joint, the splice I'm going to make too. Can't use this. Oh boy, I'm really running low. This is kind of too big. And the other is too small. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put the too small in. That'll do the job up in there. Bend it up a bit. Get gravity working on my side. Put that there. Then we'll make this connection, and I'll use some bigger. Man, this is all I got here. Yikes. Is that bigger? Try it with this. Take that much. Come down out of the sky there. Really knock this down. Slide this on. Try to do the Western Union thing here. As soon as I apply heat, this is going to shrink. That's okay. You want that to shrink right there. Where's the, here it is. Go that over like that. There we are. Perfect. Shrink this just with the heat from the soldering iron. Okay, and this one comes up to, wow, that's not wanting to come off. Ooh, that's really on there solid. Okay, we won't fight with it. And come up and over, something like that. exactly the same. It's a good way to poke your finger, by the way. Pull this right out or not. Well, not going to work if I can't hold the soldering iron against it. Just not putting enough. The heat transfer rate's too low here. Put a touch of solder in here. Increase the transfer rate. Heat this thing up more. Yeah, it's not going to cooperate. Doesn't have to. More than one way to rewire a radio. Oh, I can't touch it. Crying out loud. Okay, where to go? Up to the floor. Don't step on it, Jack. Here it is. Almost stepped on it. Okay. When I was a kid, I had a door I made for my shop. My shop was just space beside the furnace in the basement. My dad had built a nice bench for me, actually. He had some carpentry skills. And when he came to my shop, you were supposed to have a card. I had one. A cardboard card about this big. And you take the card and you shove it in this little box with a slot. And when you did, the doorway, which was nothing more than a curtain, would pull back to my shop. So in other words, I showed up at my shop, pulled out a card, stuck it in a slot, and the door swung open. The cloth door got pulled open. Seriously. I invented the card access. The card was a piece of stiff cardboard with tin foil wrapped around the end of it. And when you shoved it in the slot, there were simply some wires in there, just laying like that. And when you put the card in, it shorted the wires, which closed the switch essentially and turned on a motor that pulled the cloth out of the way. Hey, I should do that for my shop here. My wife would really like it. She would like that. Oh, the crazy things we do when we're kids. Got to try to keep doing them. You know, never be childish. Always be childlike. We should walk around dazzled at what the universe is and what we are and all that stuff, and this whole thing that we are living through is, you know, because it's so everyday for us, because it is every day, we just take it all for kind of granted. But sorry about that. I think you were watching nothing there. Sorry about that. The most complex thing known in the universe to this point. Oh, sorry, it's gone off here. Is my soldering iron. No, the most complex thing in the universe that humans know of to this point is the brain in our heads. If we don't sort of, you know, if we're going through life and not understanding that to be the case, because it's so easy to take everything for granted, just the most exciting, stunning, amazing things. Come on, let me just hold still for a bit. We tend to take it all for granted. Just here I am fascinated by this radio, and this radio amounts to nothing compared to what's in my head. You can interpret that any way you like. Ow, 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 ow. That was still hot. Still hot. There we go. Number 2. Number 3? Number 3. I've only got one more. Well, I might as well just keep that video rolling. Where are we? 47 minutes into it here. Last one. Last one. Okay, it also disappears through the hole. Hole to where? Hole. Oh. Yeah, in there. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. Okay, let me get a hold of it here. Okay. Where are you? Oh, this? Really? This thing? Like a mile of wire here. Oh, wait a minute. This can't be right. There's a joint here. There's a splice. Wow. Why is it I can't see where it's coming through the hole? Definitely got the right wire. There's not many wires to get a hold of up there. Okay, so I see it moving up here, but I can't actually see it where it's coming through the hole here. Let me shine the light down through the hole, and I can spot the hole that way. Gee. See, this doesn't seem possible. The wire that's moving does not seem to be possibly the same wire as I am tugging on. So what is going on here? My gosh, it's moving it up at the top too. This really does seem to be a straight through piece of wire. Okay, you know what? I think what I'm seeing is the wire comes up through a hole I can't find. It goes into this splice here. So there's actually one wire coming up, two wires going down in this splice. One of the two wires going down is the one that's going out. Yeah. Okay, that's another case of it really tough to deal with the situation under the chassis here. Tough and risky. Let's see. Let's see, they've taped this wire all the way down to the hole. I just can't believe I can't see the hole. Oh, I see it. Okay. Yeah, it's not what I said it was. It's a free continuous wire. It's because I was looking down here. It's over here. Comes up through here, loops around and heads into that splice I was talking about. I don't want to go into the splice. The wire is accessible right here. I could bring in a new wire and make a splice here and not go into the splice that's just an inch or two away. This is a pretty awkward area to work in. Conditions the wire in. The wire feels pretty good actually. Let's see, what's it look like? This wire, this is not the same as the other wires. Not here. Let's see what's going on up on the top here. Maybe this wire's been replaced once. See, it's got the vinyl electrical tape on it. Over top of some friction, much older friction tape. That's what I'm looking for. There's the green crumbly insulation. So under the tape is a green crumbly wire, but at some point that changes to a different kind of wire. Where does that change occur? And if the wire is this way all the way through the hole, it's good. But if the wire is that green crumbly stuff through the hole in the chassis, it's bad. I could pull this all the way back if I wanted now to do that. Why would I want to do that? Also, there's a lot of slack here. I can pull it up through the hole. At least I can get a look at it. Let's pull this tube out of here. I've never tested the tubes in this radio either. Ooh! Yeah, maybe it's about time to test them. See, look. I think there's a splice right there. All I gotta do is change the wire from here up. Save myself a million headaches. Let's see if I can unpeel this. A million headaches? Wow, that sounds pretty bad. Talking about bad headaches. Not that I suffer from these anymore, but from the time I was about 25 till I was about 50, I guess, I had the strangest headaches. I eventually went to the doctor. There's no insulation. So he changed the wire under the chassis up to here, but didn't change it all the way up. And then all the insulation cracked off. You know, all this stuff cracked off. So he just taped it. Ah, feels like there's some insulation in there. Yeah, there is. Well, that's sort of the story. So anyway, I had these headaches, these incredibly crushing headaches. They come on with 1 or 2 minutes notice. There's a reason why I'm going to describe this in detail. Because one of you may suffer from these kinds of headaches, and you don't know what it is. They come on at 1, 2, 3 minutes of warning. There's no throbbing. They aren't the same as yikes, as the very common, or much more common, migraine style headache. Come on, crushing pain, unbelievable pain. What is going on here? Doesn't really look like a splice. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to I don't know what was done there, because the other wire seems to come up right to the end here, and then it appears to be the conductor from in this wire bared off. I don't know, can't sort that story out. But we're going to attach a new one here. I'll be able to use some heavier shrink sleeve on it here. Perfect. Then I'm out of shrink sleeve. So headaches come on with 1 to 2 minutes notice, rise up to maximum in about 2 to 3 minutes. Maximum had me on the floor. That's how much pain was involved. Carry on for 20, 30 minutes, and then suddenly gone, or within minutes gone. And afterwards you feel like you've been punched out. Exactly how you feel. All the pain located under my left eye, or behind my left eye, and around the eye socket orbit. No throbbing, just intense, intense pain, very much like a hot knife being pushed into your eye. Really, that's about the best description of it. The pain is intolerable. You cannot do anything during these attacks. The problem is, they most commonly come in the middle of the night. So you wake up from your sleep knowing you're 1 minute from a crushing headache. You barely get out of bed, make it somewhere where you can moan and groan. Okay, and then this goes on for a month, 6 weeks, and then it stops. And then they're gone. They're gone entirely. For about 18 months. Then you get another round of them. 6 weeks of this horrid 4 or 5 headaches a day, or two or three headaches a day. Most of them at night, in the middle of the night. Completely debilitating headaches. Went to the doctor. I got 10 words out of my mouth. He goes, "You know what? I know what you got. You've got something called cluster headaches." Maybe some of you are familiar with this now, but back when I was doing this, cluster headaches were kind of new on the medical radar. A lot of doctors hadn't heard of them. People with cluster headaches were getting brain scans and all kinds of stuff on the basis that it must be cancer or something, because doctors didn't know what it was. And their nickname is suicide headaches, because for some people these are so bad, suicide is the way out. I'm not kidding you. That's how bad these are. Well, I don't have them anymore, so don't feel sorry for me. They generally, when you get older, they go away. And that's what happened for me. And plus, I did not have them as bad as some people. Mine would have ranked a 9. I never made it to a 10. A 10 is the kind of pain that you just as soon be dead. In fact, these headaches are considered the most painful thing a person can experience. They're not pain in the ordinary sense. It's some kind of thing going on in your brain, some kind of problem. It's not really well understood. Not many people get these. About 1 in 10,000 people get them. Probably half those people don't know what's happening. They don't realize what it is. They go to their doctor and he tells them, you know, it sounds like a migraine to me, because he's not up on it. Although today it might be different. I was lucky. My doctor had another patient. He had just finished diagnosing him and learning everything about them, about these headaches. So if you get headaches, okay, the classic sign is it's only in your usually left eye, not always, it could be the right eye, but it's only one eye, and your eye turns red, the one eye turns red, it'll water, it'll puff out, it'll swell. People will look at you, they know there's something wrong because of what's going on your face, and I put 2 sleeves on here because they can see it in your face. They know something horrible is going on. It's scary for people who watch others suffering from these headaches. Migraines, just to distinguish it, a migraine, you want to go away, be left alone. You want to go in a dark room. You want it to be quiet. With a cluster headache, you are up, you are jumping, you are running, you are banging your head, you are yelling, moaning, you're moving around. It's a totally different experience. So not to knock migraine headaches. I'm not trying to say people with migraine headaches are wimpy. They're not. They're terrible too. But the cluster headache is in a category all to itself. Now, talking about all to itself, what did I do with the cap? What did I do with the cap? So hopefully none of you get cluster headaches, but if one of you is getting them and doesn't know it, maybe you'll benefit from my little speech here, because this is a bit of an unusual medical thing. What did I do with it? Uh-oh. Well, I'm stuck here until I find it. Okay. My cat has come to join me for this. I had to watch back my video to find out what I did with this cap here. And then I found it right afterwards. So what are you doing, Shadow? Waiting for spring, just like all of us. Apparently our wait is being extended. It's I think it's about 5 or 6 degrees below normal these days here. It's a little above freezing. And it still goes down below freezing every night. And apparently we got a load of precipitation coming. Everything's coming. Snow, sleet, freezing rain. Apparently it's all coming. Oh yeah, one last thing. I was talking about the cluster headaches. Unfortunate thing about cluster headaches is they come on so fast you cannot easily medicate them. So you try to take some kind of painkillers. The painkillers are largely ineffective, even if you took them ahead of time. Largely ineffective on this kind of headache. So I gobbled Tylenol myself. I just felt better taking something, but mostly it's hold on tight for 20 minutes or half an hour while this headache runs its course. So that's the unfortunate thing. There's I got to solder this. There's medication you can take that prophylactically to try to reduce the pain of it all, and some people are desperate enough to do that, but unfortunately it has rebound effects. So when you stop taking the, I think it's ergotamine, you stop taking it, you start getting headaches. So it's a little counterproductive. Shadow, you're purring up a storm. How come? Just feeling good about life, are you? Up here in the microphone. Up here. No, not down there. Up here. Up here. Yeah. Up there. Here. I guess she's smelling the soldering iron. I think that's what she's doing. Okay, tube back in. Thick pins. Right there. Again, I cut this way too long. Oh, wait a minute, take it out. Out. Got to shrink the shrink tubing here. Let's try again, just with the soldering iron. I think the first time I had the cluster headaches, I'm guessing now because I don't think I recognized what it was at all. I thought I had an abscess in my tooth. I think I was probably in my 20s without realizing what it was. But it really wasn't until I was in my 30s that I had them frequently enough and bad enough that I went to the doctor. But you know, I'm lucky because in terms of medical complaints or health issues or whatnot, that's really all I've ever had. I don't have any chronic problems, so I'm lucky in that respect. Here, I'll just touch the soldering iron to it to really get it going. There we go. We're done. All four. That's great, eh? Think we should test the radio? Nah. No, that's enough. That'll be when I go to do the alignment work. Then we'll test it. Look, she's still sniffing around the soldering. She goes, "Where's that smell coming from?" It's got to be from around here somewhere. Shadow, it's actually in my socks. Okay, well, thanks for watching that. I had planned to do that all off camera, but I did it on camera. So thanks, and see you on the next video.